Today I would first like to pay tribute to the astonishing historic victory of the Palestinian resistance movement. This victory has proven to the people of the world that the morale and determination of the revolution are stronger than the billions of dollars worth of high-tech weapons that U.S. imperialism has provided to its Israeli proxies. The huge power unleashed by the Chinese Revolution is an excellent example. Under the leadership of the Communist Party of China, the mobilization of the most depressed people has been the real driving force behind China's rapid modernization, its escape from extreme poverty, illiteracy, famine, and imperialist dismemberment. It is the power of the people that has changed history, and the change is remarkable. Just as Palestinians struggling for their land are slandered as terrorists in Western propaganda, debunking the fallacy that China is an evil imperialist country is a crucial part of opposing the U.S. narrative. Imperialist countries constantly promote the China threat theory and use it as an excuse to mobilize for war against China. Therefore, we must face this issue head-on at a time when we need to unite the broadest possible forces to oppose U.S. LED wars. This is a demoralizing and disorienting smear. The China we defend is precisely what Wall Street wants to destroy. The Chinese Revolution was a large-scale social change of world historical significance. We defend China for the same reasons we defend every achievement of the working class, every difficult step forward of our class, every organizing drive, every union struggle, and every liberation movement. Because we take a clear stance in the class struggle. This is a global struggle, and these struggles are not perfect. They encounter real material limitations. But what is the difference between China and the U.S.? China does not engage in regime change, destabilization, unilateral sanctions, or economic coercion for its own economic interests, while the U.S. does. China does not have a global network of military bases, while the U.S. has more than 800 military bases and armed strongholds around the world. China's state-owned enterprises do not exist to extract profits from every transaction. In fact, they serve to solve practical problems and meet human needs. In contrast, every U.S. enterprise must extract profits for shareholders every quarter. Profit is their lifeline. China frankly admits that it is developing in the direction of socialism. China is not yet a socialist country that has achieved full equality and meets everyone's needs. China's economic development is still unbalanced. As they explain, China is still far from a communist society. However, through the Communist Party, the party of the working class, China is firmly improving the living conditions of millions of people. China has made some compromises. There is a capitalist class in China, and there are some wealthy individuals. But capitalists are not the decision makers. China remains a worker state with a socialist economic foundation, but it is forced to exist within the global capitalist system. There are reconcilable differences in property relations and class relations between an imperialist country and an oppressed and formerly colonized country. As U.S. building a socialist economy, for Marxists the key question is whom the state serves, both in China and in the U.S. As Lenin said, the question is which class controls the state, which is crucial for answering whether China is an imperialist country. Today, all of China's top enterprises are state-owned and publicly owned by the entire people, not by a handful of billionaires. This includes banks, oil companies, gas companies, gold and rare earth mineral enterprises, insurance companies, and high-speed railways. China has a state monopoly in trade, and key industries such as finance, technology, manufacturing, energy, aerospace, and chemicals are all state-owned enterprises. Abundant resources, industries, and important communication sectors are the largest sources of profit in every society. This is why the U.S. wants to control them, and it is also the source of their anger, because these are all controlled by the Chinese state for the benefit of all the people, not for a few billionaires. Today, China has 600 million industrial workers, which is more than the total working class of all the G7 imperialist countries combined. China has nearly 100 million Communist Party members who are elected by their peers at all levels and are committed to safeguarding socialist property rights. They study Marxism in the most creative ways, regarding it as an evolving science. Such a large-scale, politically conscious and highly organized communist working class organization and leadership is a powerful bulwark against imperialism. Now capitalists from all over the world can invest in China and obtain substantial profits. However, according to the law, they cannot withdraw their equipment at will. The equipment belongs to China, and they must train Chinese employees to operate it. Imagine that imperialist enterprises consider these restrictions on foreign investment as an infringement of property rights. They want to be able to do what they do in the US, that is withdraw factories, equipment and technology, leaving behind a rust belt and millions of unemployed workers. But they cannot do so in China because China maintains a planned economy and state ownership of core industries. It has been able to avoid economic crises, thus terrifying recessions and depressions that hit all capitalist economies every 7 to 10 years, even during the 2008 capitalist crisis that pushed financial capital to the brink of collapse. The Chinese economy remained unharmed. This proves that the global capitalist market is not dominant, and decisions are not made by billionaires. Now indeed, a small number of Chinese capitalists are allowed to join the Communist Party of China, but this subjects them to party discipline, which is another mechanism by which the CPC can exert dominance over enterprises. China retains public ownership of all land. Land can be leased for a specific period, but the buildings on it must conform to the plan. China's Belt and Road Initiative is truly a liberation for the world, for the global south, and for formerly colonized countries. It is China's effort to establish connections with other countries and promote the economic development of each country. From 1949, the year of the Chinese Revolution, to 1979, the sanctions and comprehensive blockade imposed by the U.S. made China's development and modernization efforts extremely difficult. However, during those years, China reorganized a chaotic, war-torn and underdeveloped society, developed science and technology, built basic infrastructure, and educated the working class and the vast peasantry. These efforts laid the foundation for the next step. China's opening up to investment in 1978 was conditional on the West lifting its strangling economic sanctions that had prohibited all technology, industrial equipment, investment and trade from entering China. This was a risky move, like making a deal with the devil, especially because imperialism saw it as an opportunity to return to China after 75 years of continuous coordination of socialist plans. The living conditions of millions of people have steadily improved. Today, Chinese workers have benefited greatly. 800 million people have completely shaken off extreme poverty. In the past 10 years and the 10 years before that, China's wages have doubled. In the U.S., however, real wages have stagnated since the 1970s. Profits have soared, but inequality has also become more severe. In terms of education, China produces more graduates in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEM than the rest of the world. Combine looking at the debt situation in the U.S. today, almost all American workers live in debt. 41% of them are in medical debt, and millions are overwhelmed by student loans, car loans, mortgages, and are struggling to pay rent. Losing a job can quickly lead to homelessness. Therefore, we have the responsibility to respond to the attacks on China. Endless wars and militarism put all workers at risk. If you participate in the workers' struggle in the U.S., you know the slogan. Which side are you on in the class struggle? It is essential to take a clear stance and remember this key difference. We should meet the needs of the people, not the profits of the capitalists. Thank you all.